We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped.
Attorney John Harris revealing the accusations against Motown legend Smokey Robinson.
I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference.
All 4 of Robinson's alleged victims have chosen to remain unnamed and are referred to as Jane Doe in the complaint.
Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons, earning below minimum wage.
The accusations against the music legend include sexual assault, sexual battery, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment.
We're seeking damages of $50 million.
The complaint also claiming one of the Jane Does was first sexually assaulted in 2007 and that these acts continued until she resigned in 2024. According to the complaint, Robinson's former housekeeper claims in the lawsuit that she was sexually assaulted not even 2 months after she started cleaning the couple's Los Angeles mansion. Another Jane Doe claims Robinson started sexually assaulting her in 2016, claiming when she was home alone with the singer at his Los Angeles mansion, he would text her and ask her to meet at places in the house that didn't have cameras. The woman alleges he would then sexually assault her.
We do have evidence of some of the misconduct.
The complaint says the former employees didn't speak out or go to police because they were afraid of losing their livelihood, familial reprisal, and the possible adverse effect on their immigration status.
And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment.
Robinson's wife, Frances, also named in the lawsuit, accused of creating a hostile work environment and being aware of what was alleged and not doing anything to stop it.
Welcome to Industry TV Network. Make sure you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Well, guys, I'm here to give you an update on the Smokey Robinson fiasco. And I have the paperwork, the actual paperwork that the 4 ex-employees filed against him. And then I'm going to share with you guys the rebuttal that Smokey came back with, because he did speak out against what is going on with him and these 4 women of Latino descent suing him and saying that he made sex UAL advances towards them and even raped them. You know, there's some words you can't say on YouTube. But follow me, stay with me. There are 16 different complaints against Smokey Robinson. The damages are in reference to negligence, SEXUAL battery, assault, false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, gender violence, Ralph Act, Bain Act, hostile work environment, constructive discharge in violation of FEHA, failure to pay minimum wage, failure to pay overtime, inaccurate wage statements, failure to provide rest periods, failure to provide meal periods. Upon information and belief, Defendant Smokey Robinson is, and all relevant times mentioned herein was, an individual doing substantial business in the county of Los Angeles within the state of California, employed the plaintiffs and each of them, and caused injuries and damages to them in the county of Los Angeles, state of California. Defendant William Robinson Jr. is a legendary American R&B and soul singer, songwriter, record producer, and former record executive and renowned entertainer. He was the founder and frontman of the pioneering Motown vocal group The Miracles, for which he was also chief songwriter and producer. Defendant William Robinson Jr. is best known by his stage name, Smokey Robinson. Defendant Frances Robinson is Defendant Smokey Robinson's spouse and was also at all times material herein plaintiff's employer along with Smokey Robinson. The true names, identities, and capacities, whether individual, associate, corporate, or otherwise, of defendants, does 1 to 25 inclusive, are unknown to plaintiffs, who therefore sues these defendants by such fictitious names pursuant to Code of Civil Procedure 474. When the true names and capacities of such fictitiously designated defendants are ascertained, plaintiffs will amend this complaint to insert their true names, identities, and capacities, together with the proper charging allegations. Plaintiffs are informed and believe that each of the defendants sued herein, as does, are responsible in some manner for the events and happenings alleged in this complaint, and thereby legally causing the injuries and damages to plaintiffs as set forth in this complaint. Plaintiff Jane Doe 1 realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 10 as though set forth herein in full. Jane Doe 1 began working for defendants as their housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence on January 3, 2023 until February 2024, when she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated SEX-UAL assaults and SEX-UAL harassment against her. The first assault occurred in March 2023, and it continued until her forced resignation in February 2024. Jane Doe 1 worked on the weekends for the defendants when the rest of the staff was off. On a typical Saturday, defendant Smokey Robinson would take defendant Francis Robinson to the nail salon and would rush home knowing that he would be home alone with plaintiff Jane Doe 1. Upon returning home, defendant Smokey Robinson would call her into his blue bedroom, lock the door, and escort their dog Shiloh out of the room. He will have showered and clothed only in his underwear. He would then neatly place a white towel on his bed, not to soil the bed linens, in preparation for what was about to occur. Defendant Smokey Robinson would then begin to kiss Jane Doe 1 in her mouth, neck, and breasts. Then he would roughly penetrate her with his fingers, orally copulate her, and proceed to penetrate her with his erect penis, causing her great pain. Defendant Smokey Robinson enjoyed ejaculating in her V without using a condom. Jane Doe 1 would protest and resist his SEX-UAL assaults, but to no avail. In a desperate attempt to get him to stop his S assaults, I'm going to just say S, guys, she would proclaim, "You're married," to which he would casually ignore. Defendant Smokey Robinson assaulted Jane Doe 1 in that manner at least 7 times. The last assault occurred on February 17, 2025, prompting her forced resignation on February 24, 2024. Jane Doe 1 was unwilling to report defendants Smokey Robinson's unlawful acts to the authorities due to her fear of losing her livelihood, familial reprisal, public embarrassment, shame, and humiliation to her and her family, the possible adverse effect on her immigration status, as well as being threatened and intimidated by defendant Smokey Robinson's well-recognized celebrity status and his influential friends and associates. Defendant Francis Robinson failed to take the appropriate corrective action to prevent defendant Smokey Robinson's deviant misconduct against Jane Doe 1, despite having full knowledge of his prior acts of misconduct, having settled cases with other women that suffered and experienced similar assaults perpetrated by him. If I sound a little hesitant, it's because there's certain words I can't say on YouTube. So it's kind of distracting me a little bit. I apologize. Plaintiff Jane Doe 2 realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 9 as though set forth herein full. Jane Doe 2 began working for defendants as a housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence in or about May 2014 until February 2020, when she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated S assaults and S harassment against her. Defendant Smokey Robinson's brutal S advances were constant and even predictable throughout her employment with defendants. Defendant Smokey Robinson's assaults began in the later part of 2016. When they were home alone, he would text message her, asking her to meet him at areas in their Chatsworth residence where closed-circuit cameras weren't located. He would then summon her to either the laundry room or garage where there were no cameras. When arriving, he would immediately grab her and begin to penetrate her with his fingers, causing her excruciating pain, and then would proceed to grape her. Defendant Smokey Robinson also forced her into his blue bedroom and made her perform ORALSEX on his erect PENIS. Thereafter, he would proceed to forcibly penetrate her with his erect PENIS without using a condom. He would enjoy ejaculating all over Jane Doe II's face, much to his satisfaction and her abject humiliation. Now, guys, I don't know. I don't want to really cast judgment on Smokey, but this complaint is too detailed. And so far, both women said the same exact thing. Now, it could be because it was planned out, but the way that they described the sequence of it happening, I don't know, guys. It's possible, but then again, it might not be true. But let's continue. Plaintiff Jane Doe 3 realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 9 as those set forth herein in full. Jane Doe 3 began working for defendants as a housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence in or about February 2012 until April 2024, when she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated assaults and harassment against her. Defendant Smokey Robinson repeatedly harassed, assaulted, and raped Jane Doe 3 during most of her entire employment with defendants. Defendant Smokey Robinson would force her into his blue bedroom, whereafter he would perform his ritual of exiting his bathroom nude or wearing only underwear after showering, and then carefully placing a towel on his bed not to soil the linens for what was about to occur. He would then disrobe Jane Doe 3 and then orally copulate her. Then he would force her to lie face down on the towel so that he could penetrate her with his erect PENIS from the rear. Defendant Smokey Robinson repeatedly raped Jane Doe 3 in this manner at least 20 times. On one occasion, when Jane Doe 3 resisted his advances, defendant Smokey Robinson offered Jane Doe 3 $500 to allow him to orally copulate her, an offer she refused. When not attempting to penetrate her, defendant Smokey Robinson would make unwanted advances against her, touching her breasts, private area, and kissing her on her neck and on her mouth. Jane Doe 3 resigned her position with defendants on April 22, 2024, due to defendant Smokey Robinson's continued assaults and the hostile working environment she experienced daily. Jane Doe 3 was unwilling to report defendant Smokey Robinson's unlawful acts to the authorities due to her fear of losing her livelihood, familial reprisal, public embarrassment, shame, and humiliation to her and her family, the possible adverse effect on her immigration status, as well as being threatened and intimidated by defendant Smokey Robinson's well-recognized celebrity status and his influential friends and associates. Plaintiff Jane Doe 4 realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 9 allegations as though set forth herein in full. Jane Doe 4 began working for defendants as a housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence, including being defendant Frances Robinson's personal assistant, cook, and hairdresser in or about October 2006 until April 22, 2024, when she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated assaults and harassment against her. Defendant Smokey Robinson first assaulted her in 2007 when she accompanied him to his Las Vegas home. While there and alone with him, defendant Smokey Robinson forced her into his bedroom, and raped her. The S assaults continued there and other places. In or about mid-2019, Jane Doe 4 was asked by defendant Smokey Robinson to accompany him to his temporary residence located in Bell Canyon to clean. While cleaning the master bedroom, defendant Smokey Robinson showered and returned to his bedroom undressed with an erect penis. He then proceeded to pull back the sheets and carefully placed a towel down not to soil the bed linens for what was about to occur. He then began to kiss her breasts, neck, and proceeded to orally copulate her and then raped her. Defendant Smokey Robinson would often create a situation or seize the opportunity where he would be alone with Jane Doe 4 at their Chatworth residence. When the other housekeepers would leave the residence, defendant Smokey Robinson would summon her to his blue bedroom while sitting undressed on his bed. He would then lock the door and place a towel down on the bed. After doing so, he would pull JD4's clothes off and, against her protestations, push her down on the bed and proceed to rape her. Defendant Smokey Robinson never used a condom during the S assaults, ejaculating into Jane Doe 4 or withdrawing and ejaculating all over her body, much to his satisfaction and her abject humiliation. Defendant Smokey Robinson would also constantly admire and touch Jane Doe 4's breasts, kiss her neck, and force his tongue into her mouth. His harassment and assaults continued to the very day she decided to resign her employment with the defendants. Now, she was also unwilling to go to authorities for fear of losing her job, familial reprisal, and everything else that goes along with it, guys. Now, these instances are very, very graphic, and I just don't see how people could make something like that up and be so detailed with it, which makes me a little bit suspicious. And also, as I said in my other Smokey Robinson videos, this is not something that is a strange thing to happen in this world, in that entertainment industry, because it's almost like it's part of the culture. But let's take a look at what Smokey Robinson had to say in his defense.
Smokey Robinson's lawyer is now pushing back after the 85-year-old musician was accused of rape and sexual assault. His attorneys say the allegations are vile and false. Robinson is accused of assaulting 4 former housekeepers between 2007 and 2024. His wife is also accused of creating an abusive work environment and enabling his behavior. The victims are seeking at least $50 million in damages over those assaults.
An S assault allegation was made against Motown legend Smokey Robinson in 2015, but no charges were filed because of insufficient evidence. Smokey Robinson has filed a $500 million defamation lawsuit against 4 of the former housekeepers who have accused the singer of S assault. The legal case filed by the star and his wife, Frances, in California accused the women of fabricating the S assault allegations as part of an extortionate lawsuit. The Robinsons say the alleged victims, who filed their cases anonymously, went on family holidays with the couple and celebrated holidays with them. The singer, who is now also under criminal investigation in Los Angeles over accusations of S assault, has denied all the allegations, and his lawyer says those behind the accusations were after his money. Mr. Robinson's lawyers also filed a motion to dismiss the women's lawsuit, arguing they should not have been granted anonymity. The Robinsons did not abuse, harm, or take advantage of the plaintiffs. They treated the plaintiffs with the utmost kindness and generosity, the lawsuit states. So I guess we'll see, how far this is going to go, guys. Again, Smokey has filed a countersuit and has sued those 4 women for $500 million. This is so disgusting. This is just so much disgusting news coming out right now. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I'll be back with an update as soon as one arrives. Peace and love.